All right. It has been an interesting new moon. A lot of reasons, a lot of things brought me to this live this morning as I am, I don't know, just up. Let me sit back. Okay, so I'm in my nice little cutie robe, even though, it's whatever. Um, This is a response video. This is a video that should have happened, a while ago. So I don't want to put too much in it, but who knows? It might happen. So I had to take notes. This is a response video to what I listened to this afternoon. So there is a video entitled, "Let the Universe Do the Work for You," by Mark Haughton. Okay, so I'm looking at my notes, sorry. By Mark Haughton, and I find his work really intriguing. Like, he knows his stuff, like, seriously. As we search through YouTube, and I'm always, maybe it's my own thing, but I'm always skeptical about the people who have these over stylized videos, and if they're, they might know the words, the wording of spirituality and manifesting and personal development, but do they actually know it? Or maybe the presentation is in such a way so that they can get more people on their channel, I don't know. But anyway, back to Mark Haughton. So this particular video, he went through a lot of different things, but the one thing that stuck out to me was his mention of the ego when it comes to manifesting. And that's kind of where I want to really focus a lot of this video, because then I listened to another video, like actually two others, but it gets weird. So if you've ever subscribed to the Evan Carmichael Channel, which I do, he has a lot of montage type videos, very condensed information with certain speakers and maybe even certain topics. So I listened or watched one or two of them. I'm gonna, again, my notes. So Master the Art of Manifesting and Attract Your Dream. So that was one of them. And then the other one, for which led me to an oldie but goodie, and it kind of reminded me, it's like, oh my gosh, I had this in me this whole time. Our spiritual journey is very interesting, where all the answers are really there. They're there, and they're inside of you. And yeah, so watching that video, I believe, or I think I wrote it down. Again, I was in a fury as I started taking notes. I was like, oh goodness. The other video, the other that had Wayne Dyer in it, but I want to mention the special that Wayne Dyer did. He did a lot of them. And yes, I used to watch Wayne Dyer when I was younger on PBS. So, and I just thought he was just like, whatever, a speaker or somebody, and I didn't realize literally until today, this afternoon, that, yeah, he is definitely there. Like, I don't know what was keeping me avoiding. Maybe I felt like the information that I got so young and already judged it or valued it as a certain thing when I was young. Like, I liked it. It wasn't like I didn't. But as I started into my adult spiritual journey, he hadn't really crossed my mind. only because I felt like, oh, I already know Wayne Dyer, and I'm not gonna, whatever, maybe that was a part of it. And I learned about Louise Hay, and of course he is mentioned in that camp, a lot. So it's like, I don't need to watch Wayne Dyer. I'm searching. It's like, but you already had it. Wizard of Oz or The Wiz is very much that seeking. I should do a video. You know what? Let me write notes. I'm in one of those zones, baby. Hold on. I should do a spiritual breakdown of The Wizard of Oz. Because it's spiritual. Like, I totally see it. So let me write that down really quick. Yeah, a spiritual breakdown of The Wizard of Oz. So when Glinda, the Good Witch, finally tells Dorothy, you had the ability all along. It was always inside you, So there you go. But yeah, so Wayne Dyer, I'd been listening to him, like I said, when I was young, when I was a teenager. And I think when I went to college, there was a time where I just didn't watch TV a lot. So I guess that was most likely when I was a teenager watching Wayne Dyer. So it was very interesting that all the things I've been studying and reading, I've read a few spiritual texts. Right now I'm trying to really get deeper into the Emerald Tablets. I feel I need a refresher of the Kabbalion. I love the Kabbalion, but a lot of the things he was saying as I was watching and listening again to one of his old PBS specials on Evan Carmichael, of all of things, seriously, he was saying all these things that came from the Kabbalion, that comes from the Emerald Tablets, that comes from Think and Grow Rich, all of the people. And I was like, oh my goodness, he knew. And I knew. Because it's not like I don't remember these things, hearing this. Like, I've got this really great memory, audible memory, I guess. So the things I hear sometimes, I remember them. Okay? I remember them. And so I remember the special. I was like, I totally remember this. And I was like, he knew this whole time. He knew. And so from that, dealing with a situation that happened maybe about a day ago. I don't want to get too into the details, but I will in a second, though, get into the details. But I was needing some inner work to process. So I'm glad, and it seems like a lot of people are moving past the whole, like, what they call toxic positivity thing. And maybe some people are still feeling triggered with that, and I'll talk about triggers and all that other stuff too. But where people say things like the basics is good vibes only. It's like, no, you need your emotions. Your emotions are there for a reason. They are there to communicate you to yourself. Your emotions are there to communicate you to yourself. You need to pay attention. Why do you feel certain feelings? And is that something that needs to be addressed? Not ignored, not erased, not pushed back on. Okay? So that's really important. And I'm going to be also, I do my best work live, sometimes just off the cuff kind of thing. But, and taking notes at the same time. So I'm going to take some notes so I make sure that, people get the good stuff. But, yeah, please pay attention to your emotions, because this is now what had happened to me, like I said, in the last day or so, that really got me to this point with the video, Wayne Dyer, and the Mark Haughton video. because otherwise I probably wouldn't have watched it. Okay, so as most of you may know, I am a performer. I'm trying to rebuild my other YouTube channel. Like, I never really used it for much, so now I'm feeling like, because YouTube has just upped its game a lot, I'm just going to definitely focus a lot on building that channel up a lot, okay, because it is kind of sad, but I've had it for a while. But anyway, I am a performer, and I like different experiences when I perform. One of the experiences that I started a few years ago was busking. I enjoy it. In the city of Atlanta, it is illegal, however, so I'm just going to put that out there before I go any further. But over the past few years, they've been working on doing different things to let street performers do their thing, okay? And I've been very careful about that, been very mindful about that, been very purposeful about that. And I totally support street musicians and street performers, because again, if you know me from my other entity, I'm all about the middle class musician. Okay, so there's that. But anyway, so I have a long-standing relationship with the train station here in the city. I am a vendor. Okay, I do perform at the stations because I've signed up. I auditioned. They said yes. They took my photo, got a little card and tag and all the things. So there's that. And I've been doing it almost, let's see, I think 2016 was when they started it. And then because of COVID and all this other stuff, so I really want to get back into doing it more like I used to. So earlier this week, I did one, and it was good for the most part, but then something happened that I hadn't really experienced in a long time, not necessarily even as a performer, but as a person. When I was younger, and I told people, or I didn't even tell people, people would hear, like, I don't go around just telling people, it's like, oh, Monica can sing, or whatever, and, I hated it so much when people would come up to me, this like in junior high or high school, were like, oh, you could sing something, that's so juvenile, of course, obviously. So I always resented that when people are like wanting me to on the spot prove to them, kind of on the same vein of, again, so juvenile, when people would ask you if you can actually see without your glasses. Like, for some reason, the glass gives you eyeballs when I see you, you're blurry, but yes, I can see you. It's like, not like your fingers are missing. So, you know what I mean? So it was that annoyance growing up as a creative person, where people wanted me to do the thing on the spot. Okay, and if you're a person that tells people, or you try to get people to do that, no, please don't be that person. That's not cool. Don't do that. But anyway, I'm literally doing my thing at the stations, playing my guitar. I'm used to most people, though, coming really close to me, mostly men, coming really close while I'm playing guitar, to look at my fingers to see if I'm actually playing guitar, because they've never seen somebody who looks like me with a guitar playing. Okay, and so I get it when that happens sometimes, and I got a couple of that, and then I also got people who want to chit chat, because sometimes being a performer on that level is almost like being what they say, a bartender. You know how like people say bartenders are psychiatrists or whatever. People come up to you with their problems and their, aspirations and things like that. Sometimes that happens too. And so, yeah, it was kind of like a, kind of a little loosey-goosey this time around. It wasn't just strictly all music. And as I was talking, speaking of talking, playing and talking, so I ended up meeting this one person, and he filmed me a couple of times, and he wanted to talk a little bit, and I was like, okay, it's totally accommodating. I also always keep aware of my surroundings, but noticing that there was this one woman that she came up, and I guess she was also looking to see, like, is she actually playing? Is she playing music? Or is she just like pretending or whatever? So she came up too, and she had a cell phone in her hand, and she was talking on the phone. So I don't know what that thing is, but I also am mindful of how people watch my tip jar. So keep that in mind. So when she came up, I was, of course, talking, whatever. She's looking, checking out the situation that I got, my setup. And then I can, like I said, I could tell when people are kind of eyeballing the monies over there. And then she went away. So the thing was, there's also a little small vegetable stand there on those days. But then I'm not sure how much time had passed, but between me like talking and then playing and getting filmed and talking some more, another woman comes up. Now, notice I'm saying the word woman. That's another trigger for me. So I don't use the F word. Okay? It gives me, I don't know. Let me write this down because I really do want to get into this. The F word, female, I do not use it. It is disassociating a human from their humanness. Okay? So when you say female to a human, you're telling them they're not human. You're telling them they are a part of another species, because you're not specifying their humanness. Okay? Just keeping that in mind, friends out there. Your words are powerful. Let go of the F word. Let go of the F word. Okay. There's that. So, yeah, so another woman comes up, and as I'm telling this story too, I'm thinking how I wanted to come on and immediately tell this story and be in my feelings, because yeah, I got triggered. I got a little bit in my feelings. But anyway, I'm going to leave out certain things because in a way it is important, but it's not. So another woman came up, and she, I guess, was friends with the first woman. And the first woman, she had micro braids. So I just want to make sure I specified the two different women. So she had micro braids, and she had some jeans on and a t-shirt. Then the other woman, and this is where it's going to get sticky, and she had on, I think, sweatpants or leggings, flip-flops, and she had on a plastic or silk cap, like, I guess what they're calling the bonnets things. And she was like, I'm kind of tall, but she was probably about my height, and she had probably 40 to 50 pounds on me. Okay, so I'm only, again, just trying to make sure you know the difference. So so I got triggered, and I got triggered by the second woman, like I'm mentioning, who had the bonnet on in the sweatpants, because not because she came and she started talking, like, I was already in a mode of like chit-chatting with people, so it wasn't like she just stopped me. So I was already kind of chatting a little bit with people who were coming around and watching. And then she comes up to me, and she kind of demands that I proved that I can sing. And I know she had heard me walking through the station. By the time she got to me, but because I've had it set up, it's like there's no way you didn't hear me already. But still, so she was like, sing this song by so and so and so and so, and I'm like, I don't know who that is. Like, I don't listen to commercial radio, so I'm like, I don't know. It's like, I don't know that song. I barely know that person. I've heard that name before, you know. And then she went into saying something to the effect of, oh, you must only listen to white people. So I was like, again, starting to feel the feelings of like, interesting. And so then she went away, and then I again was talking a little bit again with the other people, and then she was to the side talking to the first woman. And then me also still watching my monies, because I think I saw them both looking at my money, because that's the thing. So after maybe 5 minutes or so, I could see that she just wasn't trying to let it go or anything like that. So then she comes back, and then she's like, well, I need to know, can you sing? Can you really sing? And she, like I said, I was performing by then, so I would sing a song and then talk a little bit. So she had already heard me. And so she came up again with another song, or her phone, and she had, I guess, I don't know, either Spotify or something, and she was like going through the list, like what songs do you like, sing one of these. And I was like, I don't know any. Look, I had to, as they say, observe a boundary by then, because I was starting to feel very triggered, because I don't do on demand performances of that nature. Okay, especially with the approach that she was coming with, because I can sense with my today's inner work, realizing that there was some jealousy behind that. So that's kind of where I wanted to lead up to in this story time. How sometimes other people's, how can I say this? Sometimes other people's jealousies show up to interfere with your manifesting. Okay? So her jealousy showed up because I did not look, I'm brown, but I did not look like her in the regards of, again, I'm going to go over the description. And again, this is not to body shame or anything like that, but I'm just saying she had on, from head to toe, a silk satin cap, bonnet thing. She had falsies eyelashes, but the super exaggerated ones, super exaggerated. No other makeup than that. She might have had eyeliner on, I don't know. She had really long fingernails. She was smoking a blunt. I forgot that detail. Like, I could, like, yeah. That's probably the reason why she went and talked to her friend, so she could smoke the blunt and come back over. But she was smoking one of those cigars, blunt things. I don't remember what top she had on, but I could tell she is a heavier set lady. She was about my frame, but I could tell she was like much bigger. I think she had on sweatpants or leggings, and she had on flip-flops, and her toenails were, pedicured, but they were also extended, if you know what I mean. So again, I'm describing her because I am trying to explain that when people do certain things, they're doing it for attention. No matter what we do in life, right? We're doing it for attention. So she has presented herself in the world looking the way that she was looking, and she's getting certain attention by it, whether it's positive, negative, who knows. But I could sense the envy in her, and I don't even know, maybe her friend too, that in my presentation, I could tell you what I was wearing. My hair was pulled back. I was wearing a kind of military style cap, kind of like a ball cap, but like, you know, like military style. And it's dark gray. I had on a black top, that 3/4 inch. You know, it's an older top. I bought it new when I bought it. It still has like kind of like a fake crystal buttons on it, so it kind of looks fancy from a distance. So, but really it's just an old type of top. And then I had this long thrift store skirt that goes halfway down my leg, okay, almost to my ankles. And then I had on my military combat boots. Okay, so that's what I was dressed like. I had on makeup. I don't, had no mascara on. Wasn't wearing my glasses. These were probably the same earrings I was wearing, and this is the necklace I was also wearing. So I was dressed nice-ish, and for being outdoors playing and casual. But yet I was getting all this attention. And that's the point I want to make. Getting this attention, and it seemed like money from these people, when she was presenting herself in such a way that did not draw the same kind of attention. Okay? So this is what I've worked on in the last few hours. Because this morning I would probably have done a different video. Okay? I was in my feelings of resentment, in my feelings of being triggered by a past occurrence, and how me as a performer, that would have hurt me. So in a way that, had I made the video that I would have probably have made this morning and put it on my other channel, I don't think that's what I wanted to present to the world, okay? So over here on my spiritual channel, though, I can break it down and I can be transparent, and I can just admit I felt resentful that somebody who looked like her was demanding of me in a way that when I was young, it was triggering to me also. Because it's like, I don't have to prove anything to you. I'm already doing it, and so what I got from some journaling, which was in the form of note-taking of all things, because I went and got my own pedicure, speaking of which, I was like, I do want to talk about this. I do want to be transparent about this, of what happened. And I want to put this on my music channel, because I also give advice there. But I don't want to come off in a mean spirit based on how she was presenting herself in the world. Okay? Who am I to judge? That kind of thing. However, I can judge people's actions towards me. And because how she looked also played a part in it to me, especially, I don't know, her habit, like it really was kind of like, with the blunt smell and all this, and she was coming up close and demanding and all this stuff, and I was like, oh gosh. That played a part in it for me. So that's why I'm mentioning that, okay? Her presentation threw me off. Like, I'm used to hecklers. I am. I've had, people come talk to me or stare at me, like literally stare at my fingers while I'm playing and stuff, like whatever, that kind of thing. But it was just something in her, like I said, her presentation and how she approached me that really kind of bothered me. And I don't know, yeah, it bothered me to the point where I wanted to make a video that might have been coming off as spiteful. So I did not want that. So I wanted to make sure I really address that. And so for my notes before the video. So this is what I wrote while I was getting my toes done. I felt the triggers. See, I wrote it. So, but I felt triggered because of the feelings she was feeling and trying to transfer to me. When people are envious or jealous, it's because they see what they aspire to and they don't know quite how to get there. And because of that, people act in an envious way. So maybe she's a singer, and so maybe she played a gig, or she did open mic or something, and she the next day she's like, I don't know, and she sees me playing music, and she sees a small crowd of people around me, and she's like, and she looks like that, it's like, I don't, like, how is she getting something that I want? This is what I want, So now I'm kind of trying to make it more full circle here. So when people are envious, they aspire for something that you have or that you're doing, and they don't know how to do it. Okay? And I don't look like all those, I guess, I do, she mentioned the last person she mentioned, I guess, because she is so convinced that I only sing white people music, that she mentioned Ariana Grande. I was like, look, seriously, I really don't know any of these songs. I had to, like I said, observe a boundary, and I just told her, I was like, look, I'm almost 50 years old, so that's probably another trigger for her too. So it's like, I'm almost 50 years old. I don't listen to that kind of music. I don't know who that, I've heard her name. I don't know her song. And I was just kind of like, I don't know what you want from me. So it was kind of like how I left it. And that's how kind of she left it too. She walked away, I guess, in disgust or something. I don't know. But still looking at my money though. So that was the key. It was like, it's easy to do virtual tips, I guess, but it's something to be said when you start seeing people crowding around you and throwing money and all this other stuff, and you think that, it's like people who look a certain way should get the limelight. And I do it on purpose, y'all. So if you ever know me as my other entity and you've seen my interviews, you would know. It's like, I do it on purpose. I could go copy those other people and try to dress like them and look like them and sound like them, but I don't want to. I want to sound like me, look like me, act like me, and be like me, and that's again back to the whole Wayne Dyer thing. But let me make sure I cover all the things I mentioned in my earlier notes. But yeah, so jealousy comes from a deep self-consciousness, conscientiousness, not conscious, but conscientiousness, that you're not good enough, that you want what somebody else has, and you're aware that you don't have quite that, okay? But you could, and that's what I was telling. I was like, look, all of this is a skill. People talk about things as being a talent, but it's really a skill. It's a skill. I was like, yeah, you can have some talent or whatever, but it is a skill. So I'm gonna take a sip of my beverage. I'm having kombucha, yay, and ginger. So if I cough, it's because of the ginger. I had it set out long enough. Okay. So when I inhale, so I got the ginger, y'all. It's getting into my in my throat like that. So yeah, um, in the end, yeah, I ended up feeling sorry for her while sitting in my, getting my toes done, because now I'm going to really break it down for you. So that day, from that gig, I made a couple $100s, not in tips, but from the train station, they pay me, and almost another $100 in tips. The day before, because I also played the day before at another situation, I made double that, quite honestly. I made double. Okay? And I don't have to have the, filters on, or the Instagram look or anything like that in order to do that. I've learned to pick up a lot of business savvy that I talk about as a musician and try to help other creatives and musicians out there with. It's like I don't look a certain way to do anything, and that's a part of some other people's limiting beliefs. And yeah, so in the end, I felt sorry for her because she has been brainwashed. I don't think she was in her 20s. I think maybe her 30s, mid 30s. She's been brainwashed into thinking that a black woman can only do a certain thing and look a certain way and sing a certain kind of music because she's never seen it before. And if she has, it's been very few, and of a kind of music that she doesn't listen to. Then maybe it's, I don't know. Now I'm going too deep. So, but basically her action showed me that she had never seen anybody like me before in life. Her action proved to me that I had to prove myself to her that I can do what I was already doing. You see how that works? It's like, that's how I can tell. It's like her actions wanting me to perform one of her songs was the proof that she needed, or not, if I couldn't, or if it's like, well, you don't sound like, because I was like, honey, it's like, I could go, if I really wanted to break this down for you, I could, but I'm not going to, because I'm at work. I'm already doing it. I don't have to prove anything to you that I'm already here for. Okay? That would have been the sass in me kind of video, that if I was doing it this morning earlier, it would have turned into that. But yeah, I feel sorry for people who, they have this want and they just don't know how to get it. And maybe that's another aspect of this video. I try to be as transparent as possible. So there is a type of manifesting that I learned, this afternoon. I mean, I already knew. We are always manifesting. Okay? Types of manifesting, good and bad, positive or negative. You get what you get what you get, okay? And then people do pitch a fit. So that's what happens when it comes to manifesting. We're always manifesting, okay? There's like universal laws in this, where just like, look, if you've ever watched The Secret or read the book, they'll say something to the effect of, it's just like all the other laws of science. The law of attraction is like the laws of physics, and it is. It's just science is finally catching up with that. And I've talked about this before, but what You will always bring to you what you're on the same vibe with. Okay? It's a magnet. You are a magnet. Just like it metal brings other metal, types of metal. You will always bring to you the thing, okay? What it is. So you're always manifesting. This is where I want to make sure my part of my manifesting was to check myself before I went on this YouTube to make a video. Because I don't want to bring the spirit of what happened the other day into my field of work while I'm working. Because seriously, that hasn't really happened in a long time. And, it hadn't happened where people confront me in such a way. So I don't want that to be a common thing. Okay? I want a different thing. So we are always manifesting. And again, that leads me to my other notes that I wanted to make sure I cover before closing out this video. So what I said to myself is, moving forward, I am going to have a prepared plan for what I call the tough crowd. Hadn't been confronted with the tough crowd in a while. And maybe I need to, step up my game out here being a street performer on some levels to be prepared for that. And so I'm going to have a playlist, a binder. I have, a lot of binders. I like to do binders. I'm a teacher. So a binder of the songs I perform, so that in the future, if someone is like, well, play this, and it's like, well, if you're interested in me playing a specific song, here is my playlist, and you can choose from there. Okay? And that way, it will, I hope, quell a lot of that kind of on the spot thing, because early in my career as a musician, I used to get that a lot too. Even when I had stage shows, you'd be surprised. It's like, people are interesting. Let's see. Yeah. I want to end with this other story, because I did not leave my gig too upset because something else happened, which was really nice. But moving forward, I'm going to have a little plan for friends out there who want to confront me with their insecurity and try to bring that spirit. Like, I have to defend myself when really I'm the proof of all. It's like, what am I defending if I'm already here, right? So have a little action plan for those little friends out there. All right, and so we're always manifesting. Okay? Always manifesting. So let me get my notes, because I wrote a lot of notes. Okay, so good old Wayne Dyer comes right when you need it. It's like, and that's a part of manifesting. It's like, we're always manifesting, even in the negative. What you think about expands. So if I don't want hecklers, I shouldn't be thinking about hecklers, because then more hecklers will show up, right? So that's me again. I'm applying all of these things to what I will be doing in the future for my own work. Okay? My own passion work that I've always had. So there's that. Again, I wrote a lot of notes, so there might be other videos I want to do with this. So think about this. So Wayne Dyer was saying, perfect example. You cannot tell yourself how much you hate being fat and then want to be skinny. There's contradiction in that. And that's from the Kabbalion also. That's when I was like, he knows. It might be from Think and Grow Rich also. I don't know who he studied, but I definitely know that's from the Kabbalion. And the Kabbalion was first written the turn of the 20th century. Okay? So it's like 130-ish years old. But anyway, so you can't focus on the negative and want the opposite of it. That's one thing when it comes to manifesting. You cannot focus on being fat, hating being fat, why am I so fat, and then want to be skinny. It doesn't work that way. You're fighting yourself. The law doesn't like that, okay, of attraction. Then, yeah, where your thoughts are will be where your energy will be, okay? So if you always focus on being broke, I'm broke. So I even did another video this morning when I was still kind of, I need to at least get some energy out, and I did a short for another station. But anyway, so I said something to the effect of, like, I don't care about these gas prices. I don't. So like when you start thinking about all the things, when you want prosperity, when you want wealth, and you're always thinking about how broke your pockets are all the time, then you're not gonna get it, okay? If you're too busy being mad at all the millionaires and billionaires, there's a lot of millionaires out there, by the way, okay? I intend on being one of them. But they're too busy being mad at all these wealthy people and saying that they should just give up all their money, when really they follow the law of attraction. And you're like contradicting yourself when you say you want a comfortable lifestyle, but then you get mad at the millionaires and the billionaires that do showcase it, because there's a lot of millionaires out there that you would never know. You would never know. And how they should be giving their money to other people and stuff. It's like, it's their money, and money comes easily, right? It does. It actually does. Like, I mean, think about the United States. We just print it. So if they're printing it, you should be making more. Just go make yours too. They make it. So that's how I feel about it. But anyway, so yeah, it's like you bring towards you what it is that your mind is always preoccupied with. Okay? So you think about that mental diet. I've done videos on that too. Mental diets is a thing. So there are, Wayne Dyer, back to the notes, 4 types of manifesting types. Okay? 4 manifesting types. There is the I wish, because there's going to be like, I wish, let's see what I write. It's the first kind, because it's the one thing that gets you started, right? So when you're just like, well, I wish it would rain because it's so dry, or, you know, let's think of something more small. It's like, I wish that I can get a parking space. You know, so you're out driving and you're like, I wish I can get a parking space. And then as soon as you drive up and you're like, whoa, right there next to the, you know, front of the store, parking space, there you go. You did it, you know. There's that type of manifesting. And it's just the wanting of it. It's like you just make it aware. Oh, I want that. Yeah. But then there's the second type of manifesting. It's what you really desire. So there's wanting, and then there's the desire part. Desiring means you actually ask for it. Like you really made it a point to ask. So if you were like really tired, I'm trying to think of a good example, really tired, and you're getting on a public train, you know, that's what I'm thinking of, it's kind of full or whatever, and you're just like, oh, my back hurts, my knees hurt, my feet hurt, it's been a long day. I hope I can get, again, just the hoping, but then hoping, wishing. I don't like saying hope, but the wishing of having a comfortable seat on the train. That's the one type. But then when you get there and you're on the train, you get on the little thing and you see that it's kind of sketch. Okay? A lot of people, having seats and finding seats and all this stuff. And then your body language and maybe your eyes are looking to see, like, I really need a seat. I really need a seat. And then somebody notices you and then they offer the seat to you. That was the asking. You might not have said it in words, but your body language said it. I need this. I want this. I wish for this, So that's the second part of manifesting. Your energy, again, don't always have to be in words, y'all. I'm telling you. Your energy brought that manifestation towards you. You desired it. And everything about you brought it. Okay? Then there is the third type. It is what you intend. This is the type that a lot of people on YouTube talk about, or setting intentions. Like, I guess the mystical part of YouTube when it comes to law of attraction. Like the third type, where it's like you got to set your intentions, and I focus on that too. It's like you got to wield it. You got to start using it. So it's not just wanting it or wishing for it. It's beyond just asking for it. Now you plan for it. That's the third type. It's what you intend. You make the plan and you put it out there. Now this type of manifesting can be tricky, because if you're intending and you're speaking it to the world, I know I've said in the past, don't do it. Try not to do it. Even Wayne Dyer kind of said it in the video, don't do it, because you'll get pushback. And if you're not a strong manifester or strong in your inner work, that is where the law will backfire on you. Okay? That's where your ego will interfere and intervene. Because if you're telling people what you want to do, let's just say, for example, you say, hey, I want to start a small business. I want to have a taco stand. I'm going to have a taco stand. And you really don't have any signs that you are doing a taco stand. Like, maybe you haven't gone to culinary school, or I don't know, haven't been looking at courses on, Latin cuisine or anything, or you haven't really expressed interest in business or anything like that, and you tell your family or you tell your friends, and then they're like, where'd you get that idea from? Or how are you gonna do that? With the look, So there's that pushback that your ego now has to work on. That's the energy you could have been using to work on your manifestation. That's, it's energy preservation at this point. That's why most of us keep your intentions private, because you need all of the energy that you can possibly muster to focus it, to pinpoint it, to wield it in where it needs to go. Instead of, and this is what happens if you tell certain people who are not on your level, who are not on your side, who are energy vampires, who want to keep you low, who are still fleas in the jar, and they don't get it, they will keep you down there because of their jealousy, because of their ego, because of their self-consciousness. um, conscientiousness. It's like, whatever, their hang-ups, basically. And so you will have to spend your time defending yourself. You will have to spend your time defending yourself, your ego, to push back against what they're saying, to prove to them that it's going to happen, when really you just let it happen. Just let it be. Focus that energy. Okay? Do you see how this all comes full circle? I hope I hope you're getting this. But yeah, you gotta not. That's why I tell people, don't tell people what your plan is unless you are actually like, the next day, this is what you're doing. Okay? Seriously. And it's already like the check's been written and all the other things are happening. Because most people, they will say the weirdest things to you. Okay? So I can go into story time. In fact, let me go into story time just for a second here. Okay, so I did a South by Southwest about 10 years ago. I had an official showcase. So if you know anything about South by Southwest by this time, it's 30 years now. South by Southwest been doing its thing, almost 40 years. But I had an official showcase. I did not have an unofficial. I didn't have an off, whatever. And when I started broadcasting it, because I was so broke, I needed money. I needed people to help me. I had to fundraise a lot, at that point. But yeah, because I didn't have any money. I had no money. And so I was telling people that I have a showcase at South by Southwest. And one of my friends, and I'm still friends with them, but they're a musician also. And so they actually fixed their mouth and their little keyboard hands on the internet to basically kind of downplay what I was doing, because I said, oh, I'm going to South by Southwest to play a show. And so he was like, oh, so you're going to be in the parking lot of some like hotel or something? Because yeah, that's the thing, y'all. It is. Yeah. And my response to that was to show him the link to my official South by Southwest showcase. Official. Okay, it's still out there on the interwebs too if you want to look it up. But that made him quiet, because most people, they will bring their hang-ups into your passion, your manifestation, and that's the next one. Type of manifesting. So yeah, you got to be careful of who you tell your intentions to when you're manifesting, because they will not always bring the best energy. Even people who do genuinely care about you, okay? Because they don't always know everything. They might care about you, but they don't always know everything. Okay? So be careful. That's what I'm saying. It's like you don't need a cheering squad. If that's the case, you need to find others who are aspiring to what you're aspiring to. That's my friendly advice. It's like don't go out there willy-nilly telling people what you want when they are not also working towards that. Okay? So there's that. And then, yes, so there's the fourth type of manifesting. And that's the passion. It's the drive, the passion. And this, when I say drive, I'm trying to use my words carefully, because most people hear that that's like effort, pushing. If your passion is your purpose, this is not the rise and grind. Okay? Before, again, I'm looking for my number 4, but I already know it. Once I write it down, I know. So this is not the rise and grind drive that I'm talking about. I'm talking about, this is what makes you feel alive in life. The spark. That's what, that drive is. The passion. The passion so deep in you that you just do it. You just live it. You're just it. And then more of it comes to you. So again, I'm trying to think of the best example. So think of the Christ, Buddha, okay? More came because the Christ was just the Christ. More came because Buddha was just the Buddha. And yeah, those are the 4 types of manifesting that you want to, always be aware of. There's of course, the flip side. And back to what I was saying about that ego, you got to be careful of you intermingling yourself. And that's why I came with, talking about what happened a few days ago, where I don't want my triggered self to go into defensive mode even after the fact, because I could have said some things on the spot, but I've learned over the years to be diplomatic in these kind of situations. Then even thinking about it hours later and wanting to do a video about it, I was getting triggered, and I was getting into a feeling, again, law of attraction, a feeling of like, I got to prove myself and I'm going to do it in this video. It's like, don't do that. It's like, I don't need to prove myself. Okay. So that's why, again, I'm being transparent here with this. Your ego can get into the way. Like, be careful who you speak about with what you intend. You've got to develop a spirit of, even if it does come out, because even, when you're doing stuff, like I said, I gave you that mini story time where I had a showcase, an official one. Somebody still wants to come at you sideways and say something to you. Don't let that derail you. Somebody will always have something to say, and just know that, Don't let that intervene in your spirit. You've got to, again, the inner work. Again, like I said, all of this is coming full circle. And it's a great reminder for me, what happened the other day, that I have to remember this is my passion. I don't want to fall into the intention and the desiring aspect of manifesting. I mean, I'm always in the third kind. This is not a hierarchy either, by the way. So when I mentioned the types, the intention type of manifesting is the most common. And like I said, that's where most people do a lot of their, well, I would say the second type too, but the most common that's focused on YouTube. Okay, the first 2 are kind of like, they just happen, they're like happenstance, and they are so stuffy, synchronicities. Sorry, I can pronounce things, I promise. Being in simpatico with the world, and then things happen. People call it luck or whatever. It's like, no, it's a type of manifesting. But then the third type is where a lot of people focus on and talk about, get hung up in. Fourth kind, that's where, yeah, you're like Teflon. Nobody can touch you at this point. I mean, yeah, they might, but it's like, I hear it. Okay, thank you. Keep moving. So the passion is where I kind of want to stay a lot of the times when I'm in my life doing life manifesting. Okay, because again, what I just said, we're always manifesting, always. You want to stay in the third type and the fourth type. Again, it's not a hierarchy, but it's just more of how easy, I don't want to use that word either. So the first 2 just happens. The second 2 are meaning. Like they are actually actionable. There you go. So the first 2, they're in all of us, always. But the second 2 are the things that some people don't activate when it comes to the law of attraction. The law of attraction requires inspired action. Those are the two that I'm talking about. The inspired action that a lot of people kind of don't really get very well. But yeah, I want to stay in those two. I want to stay there. So thanks hanging out on my video for a bit, and I don't know. But my coaching for others' spiritual growth is also my own. You know, the people that come through our world and through our life give us lessons always. So like I said, I feel sorry for that woman. But I also am thankful that she came by, because it was a reminder for me that I needed. I needed that reminder. Okay? And so with that, the Body Electric Supplement. Learn how to do. So I'm excited also before I go. I'm excited that I can use my phone now to do lives and not my laptop. Because I almost was like, I don't feel like doing this now. So now I have an ability to do the lives on my phone. So I'm excited about that. I'll be working more on housekeeping in the channel. But yeah, that's where I am. All right, take care. Bye.